Good evening, Glitter Gang, and Merry Christmas. You're here for Christmas in July. I'm Kathryn. This is a Kathryn Scraps live show, and we're going to be working on the Pouch-a-lope, which is a new album style that I named earlier today after thinking about it really, really hard. Look how cute it is. Okay. So, where we were with the Pouch-a-lopes when we stopped was I had just shown you very quickly how to make the pouch, or at least how to cut the cardstock for the pouch. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to finish the rest of them. We're going to put the acetate in them. And of course, whenever I say acetate, what I mean is transparency film, because I'm really cheap and that's what I buy, because I don't buy acetate because I just don't, man. I just don't. Okay. I am going to get my Fiskars trimmer, the, the slidey one. And I am going to cut these before I fold along the score lines and burnish, because my cuts will be more precise if I cut them before I before I fold them. And essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this at 1.5 inches, and I'm going to cut up from 1.5 inches up from the bottom to 1.5 inches down from the top. So it's 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, which in this case, since this is 8.5, you're going to cut from 7 up to 1.5. All right. So cut from 7 up to 1.5, and then from there it's easy. You just turn it, put it at 1.5, and cut from the cut line up to 1.5. So no big deal. On the side where the score lines are valleys and not mountains. Or the 8.5 inch side. Oh, this is the 10 7/8 by 8.5 inch piece. Have you missed everything? No, you haven't missed everything, and I will be putting the videos on YouTube so you can catch up over the weekend. So fear not. But yeah, this is the pouch piece, which is the 10 7/8 inch by 8.5 inch piece. Okay, so that's one. Just keep going. Dun, dun, dun. Pouch-a-lopes. Attack of the Pouch-a-lopes. But yeah, I recommend starting your first cut on the 8.5 inch side, because then you can do 7 to 1.5. Whereas if you do it on the if you do it on the 10 7/8 inch side, you're going to have to do some more complex math, which you're welcome to do, but I'm not going to do it for you. And then this is one of those projects where construction and decorating are going to have to be interspersed with each other, because some aspects of construction can't be done until some aspects of decorating are done. You get what I mean? So we've done albums like this before. What album? Oh, Flight. The travel album was like this. Most recently, I think. My nails, yeah, my nails are like recovering from 2715. Thank you. My multivitamin has biotin in it, And then also I put jojoba oil on them. And you can see my left hand's a lot longer than my right hand. That's because I filed my right hand and then I like got distracted and wandered off and didn't file down my left hand. So with the cut size, is it possible to use 8.5 by 11 paper? For this piece you can, but for the other piece, this is the pouch part. The lope part, the envelope part, is 11 7/8 by 12. So if you wanted to use 8.5 by 11 for the whole project, you'd have to figure out how to piece that together from multiple pieces. So if you want to just buy like one pack of paper, you would want to buy 12 by 12 to make it easier on yourself. But if you had 8.5 by 11 at home that was the perfect color and you wanted to use it, then you could piece it together. But yeah, thank you for the compliments on my nails. They're doing really well right now, actually. Pretty happy about that. But yeah, my multivitamin is got like a bunch of biotin and other hair and nail stuff in it, as well as some thyroid stuff, which I also think helps my hair and nails. So, and it's not expensive. It's just Centrum Women's. But I was reading an article by a pharmacologist who said that that's like the best women's multivitamin there is. So, and I do think it's better than my last one. So, you know, I'm not a vitamin scientist, but I do think it's working. Yeah, but Centrum Women's specifically is the one that has the biotin and thyroid stuff in it. I'm like, so if you're shopping for multivitamins, check it out, because it's not expensive either. So I've definitely taken more expensive multivitamins that I didn't feel were adding that much to my life. And again, I'm starting with, this is the 8.5 inch edge, cutting from 7 up to 1.5, and I've got it at 1.5. So 1.5, 1.5, 7, and then the rest of it, it's just 1.5, 1.5, and then up from the cut. So this is not difficult. Centrum Silver is where you're at. Is Centrum Silver divided into women and men so that it's like at least it's got like more lady stuff? But that's new for the silver. Interesting. I'm starting to feel a little bit of resistance, so it's probably going to be time to change the blade soon, but I'm hoping I can just finish it off. You need something for your hair? Yeah, this, I think I'm going to have to switch the blade. Collagen, yeah, and biotin, and a lot of times you can find hair and nail formulas that have like a little bit of everything. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch this around, and you, if you've been following me for a while, you know I only ever use one side of my blade. I only ever cut up. So when my blade gets dull, I put a black mark on the dull side, and then I just flip it around. And then it's a brand new blade, basically, because I only ever cut on one side. So that way I get equal use out of both sides of my blade. And then for nails, jojoba oil, the oil molecule of jojoba oil is small enough to penetrate through the nail itself down into the nail bed and hydrate the nail where it grows out. And so when it's the other oils are like too big to do that. So specifically jojoba oil is good for nails. And you'll know your nails are properly hydrated when, if you put the jojoba oil on them, and it's either an hour or 90 minutes later. If it's still oily an hour later, then your nails are hydrated. If it dries before an hour, you need to do it again. So but that can help your nails stay hydrated, which keeps them more flexible and less brittle, so they're less prone to peeling and breaking. I did have a nice birthday. Mr. Lifeguard went to a local steakhouse and he picked up steak dinner and a gallon of sangria. And we had a nice steak dinner. And we hung out in the pool. Drank sangria in the pool. That was nice. And he got me a cake. And my dad sent me a t-shirt with a cassette on it with a marker written label on the cassette that said Best of 1980, which I thought was really cute. Now you can't, I guess you can't be much younger than someone from 1980 and still know what a cassette is. So. I wonder what's the cutoff for that. What the cutoff year for really knowing what one of those is. Because I was in, I want to say, I think I was like a tween middle schooler when we got our first CD player. But my parents, I mean, they had an 8-track player and a record player and a cassette player. So I knew what all of that stuff was, even though 8 tracks are a little before my time. Like most people born in 1980, most people I know didn't grow up with an 8-track player in their house or necessarily even with a record player in their house. So, you know, you were here before cassettes. Your mom's Thunderbird had an 8-track. It does depend on how quickly your family upgraded their tech, too. That's true. Like, if they were early adopters of anything, you still use your iPod? Oh, I found my iPod. When we were decluttering. And this is my second iPod, because my first iPod was the, it's so heavy. It's like, it's much heavier than my phone. And look how much smaller it is than my phone. It's much heavier than my phone. But this was my second one. My first one was the U2 one, which has a red wheel. It was black and it has a red wheel. And I got it because it was black. It was the only way to get a black, at the time, to get a black iPod. All of them were white except for the U2 one. And then it was signed on the back by, had their signatures on the back. But, so, that's how I know it's not my first iPod. But I took all my music. I mean, I don't have iTunes. I mean, I'm sure I have an iTunes account, as in it exists. Like, you know, because I've never written a letter to Apple's lawyer or whatever and told them to get rid of me. But I don't do anything with it. And I took all my music out of it. Because I haven't had an anything since 2011-ish. Okay, now we've got all our pieces cut out from the center. So we've got a stack of these that we can use to put, I mean, whatever, we can use these for stuff. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So those scraps are all big enough to be 4x6 photo mats, and or 4.5 by 6.5. Well, Mr. Lifeguard has an iPod Shuffle and the little tiny thing, and it's not working anymore. There's something wrong. Like, there's something wrong with it, which I think it's just like wants to be retired, you know. All right, fold along all the score lines and burnish. Just be careful because it's flimsier now. Because actually, you know what? I have an idea. I think I have a way to get around this flimsiness problem. Let's take our transparency film and put it in the center before we fold, and then we won't have to be gentle. Oh my gosh. Am I the smartest? I think I am. I'm just gonna say it. I think I am. All right, so my transparency film's 8.5 by 11. I need a piece that's 8 5/8, so I think 8.5 is fine. I'll be short 1/8 of an inch, but whatever, who cares? And then by 6 1/4. And really, this is 6.5. Yeah, let's. Yeah, 6 1/4 is fine. Okay. Okay, so we're going to count out. We need 12 of these. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8.5 by 6.5. Yeah, absolutely. 7, 8. I'm cutting them at 6 1/4. Oh, you're right. It's 6 1/4, not 6.5. Because the thing is 6.5, and you want to have a little bit of room so that you don't, fold the transparency. So yeah, 8.5 by 6 1/4. 9. 10. 11. Last one. 12. All right, so these pieces are pretty big. I'm going to put them back in my bag of transparency stuff. My thing with Apple is Apple is one of those things where you it's most useful when you fully commit to it and only have Apple products for everything. So you have a Mac, laptop, you know, your webcams in Apple, your phones in Apple, your this, that, whatever. Like the because of the way their cloud works and because of the way all your stuff is stored, etc., etc. And I just wasn't interested in that. And that's if you're not going to commit fully, like if you're still going to have a Windows PC, for example, then it's a little bit easier to go Android. So like all my stuff is, I have a Google phone, all my browser stuff is in Google, you know, that sort of thing. So you know, I feel like we're at a point where you basically, like, for maximum ease of life, you need to either commit to Apple or Android. And for us, the technology of our computers is what drove the decision, because we didn't want to go with Apple for all the broadcasting stuff. So, I mean, you can mix and match, but I'm just saying that they work better if you don't. You know, like if you just sell your data to one or the other, and then it's better that way. It's better that way. All right. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to put tape all the way around the outside. Oh, hello. Hi, hi, hi. What are you doing on the floor? You're so cute. You gonna hop on the desk and say hi to your friends? Come on. Come up here. Come say hi to your friends. All right. That's Kitty, yeah. All right, so Chaka, yeah, you just commit, and then, you know, it's just easier to commit. Like, I have a friend who's always, like, trying to keep, you know, like, his browser from spying on him and stuff, and whatever, and I'm just like, they're spying on you anyway. Like, even if you lock down your phone, Facebook's still spying on you through your friends' phones, for example. Like, we know that. So I was like, you should just give up, because you're still getting spied on, but you're not getting any of the advantages of the internet spying on you. So you're just making your life harder for, like, no reason. Can you believe that she has friends other than us? I know. Well, yeah. We got Chaka too, because we had iPhones for years, but then I think it was the iPhone 5 where they really stumbled so badly, and they were, it was just not a good phone, and we needed phones at the time, so we went to the Samsung, and we just haven't been interested in going back. Now, I'm not loyal to Samsung by any stretch, you know, but that put us into Android, and then I just found it was a lot easier for me to deal with being in the Android / Google ecosystem. Jill says, like, when you have a conversation with your father about the new Ford Bronco and then you're getting hit over the head with Bronco ads. Exactly. Exactly. Or, like, my favorite is, okay, I'm going to have to, on the long sides, I'm going to have to put the tape on the transparency, but on the short sides, I'm going to put the tape on the frame. Exactly. My loyalty is to what suits me at the time. Yeah. Yeah. What it's like, companies have to earn your loyalty. It's not like, you know, they try to trap you. Just don't let them. Okay, just don't let them. Kitty. Kitty. You're on the floor, but they want to see hi. They want to see you on the desk. I've been getting tons of Ford Bronco ads too. I don't like, I don't know why, other than, like, I randomly saw something about the new Ford Bronco, and then I was, like, clicked on it, and then, of course, you know, the way the internet is, the internet was like, you love Ford Broncos. And I was like, not really. Well, and we left Samsung because of the exploding notes, too. So, and then I had a Huawei for a while, and then, of course, you can't have those anymore, so that's when we switched to the Pixel. And I have a Pixel 3a XL. The Pixel A's are really good phones for the money. So, 3a XL has a great camera, a big screen, and plenty of power for what I'm doing on a phone, which is nothing that requires processing power, and was only $479. So, next time you need a phone, look into the Pixels that have the A after them, because those are like the cheapo version. So, like, they're like, right now the Pixel that's out is the 4. The 3A is out and the 4 is out. And then when the 4A comes out, it'll be like the cheap version of the 4. So in this particular case, because of because I was a little short, remember I said 8.5 was a little too short? Because of that, I was just too close to the edge. Like, I don't know if you can see, but like right here, I actually have a little tape poking out on the front of the transparency that I'm going to have to trim later. So on the short sides, I'm putting it on the frame so that I know it won't poke out. And then on the long sides, I'll put it on the transparency. But technically it's, you know, you want to, it doesn't matter where you put it as long as it doesn't hang over this edge and it doesn't hang over the edge of the transparency either. But yeah, sometimes though, I love when, like when the internet gets this idea in its head about you, that it can't let go of. And then because you're clicking on stuff like, why are you showing me this? Then it keeps showing you more stuff like that. What brand transparency? I think a Teco or something like that. Apollo. So not a Teco, but I got some of the letters correct. Just with transparency, make sure you get the kind that's for writing on for a projector. So get write on transparency. Don't get print on transparency, because print on transparency, number one, it has a little bit of a film on it, so it's not as clear, and number two, it's more expensive. So you're looking for write on transparency, not Apollo is your nephew's name. Well, that makes sense, because your niece's name is Artemis. So there's like a theme. So what's the next one going to be? Well, I'm trying to think of other Greek gods with A names. Athena. Okay, so Adonis. Ooh, that'd be a good one. That was Michael B. Jordan's name in the new Rocky stuff, in the Creed movies. That's his name, right? And of course his dad's name is Apollo. So there's, and what does he name his daughter in the second movie? It's an A name. You don't want any more? So no Adonis on the way. Andromeda, there you go. Aphrodite. Although Aphrodite's like kind of a rough name. You know, it's a little long. Hard to spell. Amara, that's right. All right. There's Ariadne. She's and Arachne, she's the one who gets turned into a spider. Hence arachnophobia. All right. Okay, so now I've got all these taped. Ugh, why am I making 12? Why didn't you stop me? You were all here when I decided to do 12. What happened there? No, spiders would be named after your child. The spiders are named after the woman. It's not the woman that's named after the spiders. Still no? You told me not to make 12? I just didn't listen. That doesn't sound right. You didn't get to vote on how many I wanted to make. Oh, you're just trying to pass the blame? That's it. I see. I see how it is. I see how it is. Okay, so now on these, I'm going to put it on the long side. If we had voted for less, you would have just gone ahead anyway. It's like you think I don't care what you guys think about stuff. I don't know where this rumor comes from that you're all spreading. That I don't deeply care about what you want. Slytherin? Is that Fran's new snake? Is that whose Harry Potter house is Slytherin? Oh, now it's behind the stove, so it's never leaving. Ooh, Snape. I wonder if anyone's gonna... Well, the pouches, the fun part about the pouches is then we have to pick 12. What about Ka? That's the snake in Jungle Book, right? You just have to move, Fran. You're just going to have to pack up and move. If I had a snake behind my stove, I'll probably just have to pull the stove out and then Kitty could eat it. Give you guys the names of some new books. All right, what kind of books do you want to read? Tell me what genre you want a recommendation in and I'll make it. I guess you would have to make sure he doesn't hide in the moving boxes and come with you. All right, last one. Mysteries and thrillers. Read The One by John Mars if you like thrillers more than mysteries. And The Labyrinth if you like archaeological thrillers. Or that dinosaur one, Dinosaur Bones, Dinosaur Teeth. I think it's Dinosaur Teeth. Labyrinth, not like the movie, like the thing from the Middle Ages people used to walk in. It's like some people are investigating an old one in France in the thriller The Labyrinth. I'm pretty sure it's called The Labyrinth. And I think it's not, why do I think that, I think it might be a series as well. I'm trying to get the teeth one. I think it's Dinosaur Teeth. Yeah, Dragon Teeth. Dragon Teeth. Okay, so now we're going to just stick these all together. I know, Kitty does need to go on a sleepaway at Fran's house and take care of the snake. But specifically an archaeological thriller, Dragon Teeth. All right, now just gently burnish and try to keep it just to the edges, because if you burnish over like a little dust on your desk, then it can make a little, like a little white speck on your transparency. And these are older and they're more for younger people, but Lloyd Alexander wrote a series of archaeological mysteries called that Vesper Hawley is the main character's name. So if you like young adult and archaeological thrillers. Oh, the ones for August? The ones for August are Aisha at Last, which is the one based on Howard's End. And Jane Steele, which is the one based on Jane Eyre. And The Art of Fielding, which is the one based on Moby Dick. And I thought of another one, which was 1Q84, which we're not going to put on the list because it's so long. But that's based on 1984. So that's a bonus for you. But I'm not going to put it on the list because it's too long. I mean, it's like 1,000 pages or something. What is Howard's End? Howard's End is the house. And Howard's End is about class, essentially. And class conflict. Which I believe Aisha at Last also has to do with. But Aisha at Last is about people moving to Boston, and it has a lot to do with Boston academia, I believe. So, and The Art of Fielding, like I said, that's about baseball, but it's based on Moby Dick. And it's the one to, like, the order in which I'm interested in them is probably The Art of Fielding, then Jane Steele, then Aisha at Last, which is not to say that I'm not interested in Aisha at Last, but just because Moby Dick but make it baseball is such an intriguing premise. And then Jane Eyre, but instead of being a doormat, she kills everyone, is also an intriguing premise. So, all right. And then Aisha at Last, I think, is like rich people problems, you know, because it's like again, and ultimately it's a novel about class. So I think it's like rich people problems versus poor people problems. But they're all extremely well rated. Very popular books. Aisha, Ayesha. Aisha at Last is the name of the book. So those are the ones you'll be voting on at the end of the month. And then this month's book is Lock Every Door. And it's just that, like, there's 5 Thursdays in July. That's why it's just taking a while. It feels like it's taking a long time. That's just because there's 5 Thursdays in July. So, and June was pretty, June didn't have had 4, so. But I'm trying to read all 3 of the June books. But like I said, I'm still on hold for Gods of Jade and Shadow, and I'm the next person. So I'm like, I wish the person reading it would just finish already. Yes. I'm like, come on. Because I read Things You Save in a Fire and I read Lock Every Door. So I've read 2 of the 3. And maybe in yours you should just make 6. I mean, just pro tip, you know. So, yeah. Yeah. Hopefully the July book will be good. But, you know, I don't trust critically acclaimed books, and I don't trust popular books because we haven't had great luck with either of them. Which is funny because like I just read a critically acclaimed book that I really enjoyed and award-winning, etc. But That's weird. Hoopla is so, like, it is, I'm always surprised by what Hoopla has and doesn't have, I guess, is what I'll say. Because there's books that I'm like, I know Hoopla's going to have it. It's new and popular with the kids. And then I go in Hoopla and they don't have it. And then books that I'm only looking in Hoopla as like a last resort before spending money, which I'm sure they won't have, and then they have it. So I don't know. Hoopla doesn't have any of the three. Well, see, I didn't even check Hoopla for any of them because my library had it, which, just as a reminder, if your library doesn't do the Libby app or have Overdrive, and the Fairfax County Public Library, you can get an out-of-state card from them for $27 a year, which is cheaper than, you know, Audible or Scribd or any of those. So try, you know, consider the Fairfax County Public Library. That's Fairfax County, Virginia. Because $27 is not a lot to have access to their catalog. And it's one of the richest counties in Virginia and in the nation. So their library system is probably good in terms of having what the kind of stuff we're going to be reading. Your library has them all and they're all available. Hopefully they will stay that way. All right, so now we've got all of our sheets in. So now I can fold along all the score lines and burnish. And I'm just going to have a little bit more stability. So I'm going to fold them all and then set them to the side. Then we'll tape them all. All right. So. I know I'm super spoiled because a friend of mine recommended a book to me, and I read the book's description. It did sound like something that I would find really interesting. But my library doesn't have it. And Amazon has it, the Kindle version, for $8.99 or something like that, I think. And I have a credit with them. So it's not like I would have to take any money out of my bank account. And yet I was still like, ugh, spending money on books. So now I'm just a spoiled brat that doesn't want to spend money on books. Oh wow, I never scored the size of this one. Oh, I didn't do this one either. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. You said there was some I missed. I guess you were right. You were right about that. That's true. I just didn't see them. I just didn't see them. Yeah, the acetate will turn white. Because bent acetate turns white. But that could be cool if you did like snowflakes or something. If you're doing a winter album. I was just going to say, Joyce needs some headphones. Use my code to get some Raycons. I'm just kidding. I don't have a Raycons code. I'm not cool enough.
All right. So yeah, the other day Facebook was like, do you want a Glowforge? And I was like, I don't think I do, Facebook, but let me just click on this. And then of course, then it was like, well, if you don't want a Glowforge, do you want one of these other 20 things that are the same exact thing as a Glowforge? And I was like, no. And then what's the one I love? The one I love is the Cartier ads. So every once in a while, and I have no idea what triggers it, but every once in a while I get these ads for this certain Cartier line that's covered in spikes. It's all spiky. Now, I like it. I like spiky jewelry. And I would not be opposed to any of this jewelry if I was like, you know, making about $1 million more a year than I currently am. But as it is, I don't know how Google's decided that I'm the type of person that impulse buys rings from Cartier. Like, I wish I knew. I wish it knew. I wish I knew whatever it thought about me was true. But a Glowforge is a 3D printer, like a laser 3D printer, I think. And you can use it to engrave stuff, and you can use it to cut, or you can make like lacy papers or all kinds of stuff. Or like wood burning or etching. Oh, the one it showed me was a 3D printer. But not 3D printer and like it prints out shapes, but I think they meant that it's like prints on 3 dimensions. Because that's what the advertisement said. But then it didn't have the capabilities to print as a 3D printer. But that is what it's calling itself on its Facebook ads. Okay. Yeah, this Google says a 3D. Yeah, Glowforge is out there claiming to be a 3D laser printer. Okay. All right, now that we've got them like this, we have to cut them again. Oh, no, we don't. We have to tape them. Okay, so on one long side, on all of them, we're going to tape on the underside. And then all the rest of them will get taped on the outside. So 3, both short and one long side get taped on the outside, and one long side gets taped on the underside. It prints 3D lasers. What is Hoopla? Hoopla is an app that you can access with your library card if your library participates, and you can get audiobooks and ebooks from it for free. Okay. And same with Libby, Libby. If your library participates in Libby, let's see, what are some other? RB Digital is another one that some libraries participate in. Flipster does magazines. Some libraries participate in that. You can rent magazines. for your tablet. If you check with your library, you know, somewhere on the website probably for your library will be all the services that they participate in. But your library probably now is at a point where you can just get ebooks and audiobooks without leaving your house. And like I said, if your library doesn't, there are some libraries that will let you pay to buy cards from them. And the cheapest one that I have found is Fairfax County Public Library in Virginia, which is $27 a year. And then, oh, Vesta says if you have Amazon Prime, the emails from the fussy librarian with the book deals are better than the ones from BookBub. So check out Fussy Librarian or BookBub. I used to have subscribed to some Daily Deals emails, but I stopped because it got out of control. Because like what started happening was I didn't want to like look through them every day, and then so if it was I just ended up getting a lot of free ones and was like, I'll figure it out later. And then it got to the point where it was hard to find stuff I wanted to read because I had all these free books on there. So I just cut myself off. Mary says Fairfax County is my library, so don't everyone sign up for that. Yes, everyone go now and sign up for Fairfax County. Other libraries that do it are Brooklyn Library. They're $50 a year, and they have a very large collection. So, like they have a lot more books in their collection than my library or Fairfax County Library. But you know, you'll pay more, and I don't know what waiting line. Waiting times are at any of these, you know. But Brooklyn Public Library is supposed to be good. Fairfax County Library is going to tell me to stop. No! There's no way, because the way I learned about it was from the Kindle Reddit. So, I mean, if they were going to yell at anyone, they'd be yelling at the Kindle Reddit before they'd be yelling at me. There's other ones. Just Google, like, you know, libraries with out-of-state cards. And then that'll do it. You'll find articles with lists. Some of them are expensive. Orange County is $150 a year. Which reminds me, I want to read that. I recently learned, because my library recommended it to me, that there's a book about when the LA library burned down. And it's supposed to be like a totally riveting, fascinating book. So, but like like 500,000 books were burnt to ash, and then like another, 600,000 were like destroyed or something crazy. So like a huge amount of books were destroyed in that fire, and it was not that long ago. But anyway, like I said, if you don't have access to ebooks and audiobooks through your library, before you go in on a subscription like Scribd or Audible or anything like that, consider supporting a library that has an out-of-state card, because it's probably going to be cheaper for you anyway. All right, just used up a roll of tape. Hopefully I have some 3/8 inch tape up here, or else I'm going to have to go cry. Is Fran hungry because she wants barbecue snake? What's going on? All right, we'll just keep taping. I mean, at some point it's like, you know, I don't have to. I could just stop. Fran wants to visit her snake in the kitchen. Yeah, we're going to finish this before going back to catch a tag. We're not going to bounce back and forth. So we're just going to finish this. And then we'll finish catch a tag. That way we don't miss our Christmas in July tradition that is officially a tradition now. That we've done it twice. But I think it'll be pretty quick to decorate all of these. I say. But because there's not a ton of space. Yeah, if you had chosen 6 instead of 12, I would be done. I mean, I figured that no one was in a rush to finish a back-to-school album, all things considered. So, but, you know, what do I know? My room is so hot tonight. It must be because I'm crafting up a storm. Yeah, Kitty left. She got bored. I was not very interesting. Yeah, that's what I heard, Judy. I heard that for a nonfiction book, it's absolutely just like a page turner. Riveting. Yeah, no snacks were forthcoming, so she said, I'm out of here. Okay, so now that we've got everybody taped, we can cut all our corners So all I do is I'm just going to put the intersection of the two lines from my scores and I put the wire on the intersection and then cut. And then put the wire next to the lines of tape so that you're not cutting the tape. And cut. And then it'll look like this, and this is what you want. So this is what a finished one looks like. All right. All right, let's keep going. Let's just do it over and over again. Woo, SVGs. All right, so remember, like I said, with a project like this where there's so much repetition, just, you know, get yourself in the zone, you know. Get yourself your favorite drink, get your favorite shows or your favorite movies, or get an audiobook and just get in the zone and just relax and just make your stuff. There's no rush, you know. Yes, after this, a lot of the repetitive stuff will be done. For sure. I mean, the pouch is probably the most repetitive part. Why am I cutting them? Won't they be covered with pattern paper? They will be, but I'm saving tape this way. I shouldn't have made the flaps so big. You could reduce them by a 1/2 inch all the way around if you wanted to. All right, so now we've done all the brown ones, and now we'll do the red ones. All right. And then we'll go. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. All right. I wish I could think of something interesting to say as I just mindlessly cut these pieces over and over again. But I got in the zone. I got in the zone. So I know, I need a donut now. Who is talking about donuts? What's wrong with you? I can't get donuts at 10:22. Fran, I read an article from a Harvard doctor who specializes in tuberculosis, I think, who was talking about that the false winter created by air conditioning could be what's causing the California, Arizona, Texas, Florida problems. And I was like, oh, are they going to make us choose between air conditioning? I don't know. Can't give it up. All right. False winter. There's a false winter caused by running the AC 24/7 for tuberculosis. And he said that might be happening. So, which I thought was kind of interesting, but it's like, I don't know what to do. Yeah. We are making pouch-a-lopes. Raven, we're making pouch-a-lopes. Christmas in July pouch-a-lopes. All right, so we've got our... No! I just threw them on the floor. All right, so... Okay. So now I'm gonna round these corners for my envelopes and these corners. I know. I was like, they can't ask me to do that. They can't. So we're gonna round the 4.5 inch side, and I'm gonna use a 1/2 inch rounder. So I'm gonna round the 4.5 inch side and the 2 flaps up here on the side near the 1 inch flap, so that when it's all folded in, now it looks like this. Okay, so now it looks even more envelope-y. And then all of these flaps need to get punched on one side as well. So let's do 1, 2, 3. I'll do 3 at a time. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. Okay, so we've got all the flaps punched. So we've got all the flaps punched. And then see how when I folded this in, this one got a little bit bent? If that happens, just give it a shave. You know, just give it a little bit of a shave. You know, don't go crazy, because remember, this is a deconstructed envelope, so you'll see it. So just cut like a little hair off and try to be as straight as you can. What they mean by false winter is in winter it's cold and everyone's inside all the time. But in states where it's very hot in the summer, everyone's inside all the time, and because they're running the AC, it's cold. And so that creates winter conditions for the spread of viruses. So viruses that don't like the heat in very hot areas, they may not be affected by the heat because you're creating a fake winter inside. That's what he was saying in the article. Beverly's probably got it right. Beverly says she leaves her air off in the morning with the door open, and then once it gets to 80, she turns on the air. Okay, so see, in Florida, that wouldn't do you any good because the friggin' humidity is the issue. You know, that's what's the killer. So the AC is also a big dehumidifier down here, you know. And like moisture is such a big problem down here. Can't have the door open, yeah. So, okay, so this is where all your rounding is on this one. And if when you fold it, it folds flat, no problem. Well, we keep our AC on 78 because my sister doesn't like it hot. I would keep it at 80, but my sister doesn't do well with heat, so we made a concession to her to 78. But I think it's more just that you're inside in the AC rather than spending a lot of time outside with fresh air is the issue. So again, just test it. And if you see how it bends, that means that one needs to be, well, what I don't like is $500 energy bills. So I keep my AC really high, and then I just run around in tiny shorts and tank tops all the time. Okay. All right. Let's just keep going. Mr. Lifeguard also runs around. He runs around. He's almost always shirtless, and then he just wears shorts. And then when my sister comes home, like, you know, like a half an hour before she's going to come home, he puts a shirt on. So we run around very scantily clad. But okay. Again, I'm just folding it to see if the bottom needs to be trimmed. So chomp the sides on the 1-inch flap and then chomp the big flap. And then fold it all up and see if there's any overlap. In this case, I don't have any overlap, so I can just set it aside. You keep yours at 78, Sandra? Yeah, we have ours at 78. When we lived in Miami, we had it at 80, but, you know, my sister couldn't deal. And then this house must be much better insulated, or it faces a different direction or something, because the energy bills here are not anywhere close to what they were at our last place, and it's the same size. So our AC doesn't run nearly as much as it used to. Hello, buddy. How are ya? What's going on with you? Some people do. It's a great place for them. Florida does actually have quite a bit of alternative energy in general. So just because it's a good place for solar, it's a good place for wind, it's a good place for hydro. You know, so energy is fairly diversified down here. There's nuclear as well. So there's a lot of people have pretty diversified energy down here. Like, I know where we are, we have hydro, we have nuclear. I mean, we do also have coal. And we have solar. But yeah, we used to live around the corner from a coal-fired plant, power plant. Our old place, our last place. Oh, I didn't fold this one to check it. The problem with my sister, I'm just going to complain about her for a minute, is she'll be complaining about being hot and she'll be wearing a sweater. And I'm like, you're 36. Come on now. Like, I know sweaters are cozy, but sometimes we have to use our common sense. So, all right. So, now, what we're going to do is we're going to tape the flaps on. So these flaps, we are going to tape onto these flaps like so. And then that'll finish off the construction for the envelope part of the pouch-a-lope. And then we can just stick the envelope and the pouch together. So now we need to run a line of tape along the bottom of each of these, and then we need to run a line of tape along the flap of each of these. My gosh. And then. Should we start calling it uncommon sense? Nonsense. So, you know, that's why I was only willing to lower the AC 2 degrees. So I wasn't willing to like lower it to 72. But yeah, whenever she complains about being hot and is wearing a sweater, I just am like, it's July and it's Florida and the feels like temperature outside is 106. Maybe if you took off the sweater, I'm just throwing it out there. Just a thought. Now, in the winter in Florida, you can really need a sweater because what happens here, they don't put very good heaters in Florida houses because you don't run them that much. So they don't waste money, they being builders, they don't waste money on like energy efficient, really nice heaters. They just put really crappy heaters in the houses, and then the houses are not built to like stay warm. They're built to do the opposite. So winter can get uncomfortable, you know, because if it's 50 and your house has a terrible heater and is designed to exhaust heat, then, you know, you're like, okay, I need a blanket and a sweater now. But it's not like that doesn't happen that often. You know, that's not totally normal. So, okay, so now we've got all those taped. Now we're going to tape all these. Fran says, in the other Florida where I live, it freezes here. That's true. It can freeze in the other Florida. Fran lives in the other time zone. Well, a lot of houses will have like this house and the house we lived in before it, they'd have one heat pump, like one big heat pump, and then a smaller air conditioning unit to help out with like the upstairs or something like that. But yeah, it's 10:40. I swear, we're going to finish all these envelopes, people. I'm not going to quit. Okay, we're going to get the flaps put on them, and then we're going to get the pouches put on them so that when we are done for the night, we have pouch-a-lopes. We have pouch-a-lopes. Oh, I have a little bend there. I think I might need to trim this one. Just gonna do it anyway. Kitty, don't you want to come say hi to your friends? Oh, she's passed out. See, cats like it up here because it's hotter than the rest of the house because of my studio lights. So even though this area has its own AC and I run it I run it a lot on Thursdays, but the lights just, they are so hot. I mean, it froze in Miami once when we lived there. I think it can freeze anywhere in Florida. I just don't think it's very normal. All right. Here we go. Time to start putting everything together. So it's all one big happy family. All right, so I'm going to take that tape. I'm going to fold this over and I'm going to line this up with the fold, because I don't want this to poke up on the back. And then, oops, I think it's crooked. It's a little crooked. I'm just going to trim off the crooked part because I don't care anymore. All right, so next time I'll be a little more careful about getting it centered. But but that's okay because I fixed it. So here is the envelope portion of the Pouch-a-lope. All right. 1 down, 11 to go. Try visualizing the Pouch-a-lopes at the end of the rainbow. All right, I think because, remember I cut out the score lines on this flap, so this flap is actually smaller. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to let them all hang over the edge. I'm going to go back and trim them and punch them. So it's just going to be faster to line it up on one side and then worry about, and then just go and trim them all. So really the flap should probably be 1/8 of an inch shorter. But I already cut them all, so I'll worry about it later. So that is probably what it is. The flap should probably lose 1/8 of an inch because we removed those score lines, so it's a little bit shorter, but you know, I'll just trim them all. No big deal. No big deal. Yeah, that falls under it is what it is. I already cut them all. I'm going to have to cut them all one way or another, so I might as well trim them perfect. We're going to put all the pouches on all the envelopes before we go tonight, Joyce. I'm not stopping until they're all Pouch-a-lopes. You guys thought you might have some evening to yourselves to go do something like in your craft room? No. No. That's not what we're doing. We're not giving up until we have 12 Pouch-a-lopes. You're hiding from your husband and boys because they're gaming loudly? What are they playing loudly? Okay. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to go through and trim the ones that are hanging off the edge just with my craft knife, and then we'll repunch them. On that corner. And I just want to, I'm just lining up with this edge because I don't want to make this too short. That would be a problem as well. And of course, this one I messed up and I centered it. So this one's got to get trimmed twice. So because this one has to get trimmed twice and none of the others do, I'm going to go ahead and punch both sides of this one so I don't forget that both sides need to be punched. And we'll go ahead and set that away from the others. Oh, look, I did this one on both sides as well. Oh, excellent. Hooray for consistency. Hooray. Okay, I'm getting a B for consistency. What can you do? Would it be better to trim or to cut them 1/8 of an inch smaller at the start? It depends on what you mean by better. They'll be lined up most perfectly if you trim them after, but trimming them after is kind of more annoying. But like you can see the stuff that I'm cutting off, this isn't perfectly 1/8 of an inch. You know what I mean? So one thing you could do is, you know, hold your pieces up to, you know, see how far off they were and trim them before you stick them down. That way, if they'd only be off by a little bit, because yeah, I'm not cutting a full 1/8 of an inch off necessarily. How much I need to cut off kind of depends on how much of the score I cut out earlier. So it has everything to do with what I did at the start of the project, which has been inconsistent to say the least. So yeah, it's like so I'd leave it up to you. It'd probably be fine if you cut off like 1/8 of an inch. Worst case scenario in that situation would be that you would have to, you know, it might be a little small for the 1-inch flap, in which case you would just trim the sides of the 1/8 inch flap. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's a big deal. So it's probably overall easier to do it that way, to cut it 1/8 of an inch smaller than whatever I told you to make the flap. So I think I told you to make the flap 8 7/8 by 3 1/2. So you could make it 8 3/4 by 3 1/2. All right, what have we got? Okay, 4 more. We can do this. We can do this. We can do it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Got to double punch this one. The envelope is a little bit wider because we cut score lines out of the piece earlier. And so when you remove the score line in addition to the piece the score line is stuck to, then you can end up with overhang. So yeah, it's a little bit wider because of that. And it's going to vary envelope by how careful you were with your original envelope cutting, with your scoring, with your cutting of the scores. It's going to change. Every envelope is actually going to have a slightly different sized flap because there's a lot of variables. So, it'll probably look the best if you cut it after you stick it. So if you cut it after you stick it. But this is kind of the most like uptight way to do it. You know what I mean? The most perfectionist. So it really just depends on your level of perfectionism also. Yeah, I think most people would not notice. All right, so now the ones that have been punched on one side or trimmed on one side can get repunched. And then they'll all be punched and we can put the pouches on them. Okay, now all the envelopes are done. And these are deconstructed envelopes, so this is as finished as they're going to get for now. I am going to close them all up because it'll be easier to put the thing on them. Okay. And in we go. No, well, the decorating will start next week. And how am I gonna put this? How am I gonna say this? The construction and decorating are intertwined for part of the project. So, like, for example, we can't add the closure to this until we decorate it. So there's definitely going to be some, it's mostly going to be, we can't just add the closure next week and then make the box. We're going to have to decorate all of them and add the closure as part of the decorating. Okay. So now, we are ready. Here are the pouches. So the piece on the inside that's like this one you're going to peel and you're going to fold it back on itself and burnish. That's the top. All right. That's the top. The rest of them will get stuck to the bags or to the envelopes. So we're making the top of the pouch by folding this piece over. And that's going to make a nice smooth top. That's going to make it easier to get stuff in and out. It's going to reinforce the top too, so the top will be a little bit thicker and it'll stand up better to having things taken in and out of it. So, and it'll just give it a more finished look. All right, then ow, ew, ow, I just burnished part of my finger. That was unpleasant. Okay, next step is we're going to remove the tape from the bottom, so the other long piece. And then find the top, and then you're going to line up the bottom, and burnish, and then you can open it and peel the sides and then push the sides into place. Okay, and so there you go. There it is. Now it's a pouch-a-lope. So we've got the pouch. So here's our pouch. We're going to put pretty paper there so we have a nice scene framed. Then we'll add pattern paper and a closure to this piece as well. And then we'll have photo, photo, photo. And then you can stick stuff in the envelope too. But this is what one looks like. This is what we've got. That's our pouch-a-lope. All right. We made it. We made it to a pouch-a-lope. We made it to a pouch-a-lope. Just gotta make 11 more. Again, line up the corner, line up the bottom, then open it, then peel the sides. You know the drill. You got it. You got it. So eventually we'll put a button and string closure to hold them closed. But, you know, this is the general shape of them. All right, any questions about the punch-a-lope? And again, all the videos for the construction, you know, there's a video going up tomorrow with some of the measurements. There'll be a video going up on Monday with some of the measurements. So all the videos, like this video from tonight will go up on YouTube on Monday. So eventually all the videos will be posted on YouTube for this project. This is a finished one. This is as finished as any of them are. So I've been doing, we just started making these in a class this afternoon. And it's just a free as we go on YouTube. Well, Raven, I don't recommend making 12 of them. Having made 12 of them myself, or at least in the process, I would suggest, 6 is probably plenty. Who needs 12? Yeah, if you have the archives, they'll all be up there tonight. But yeah, this is a, this doesn't have a tutorial. It's just a more casual class. So that's why I don't have samples or anything like that. So I don't have a finished one other than the ones that I just made. But I was thinking 12 Days of Christmas when I made 12. But, what can you do? Now I'm regretting it. I regret everything. Yeah, I was being ambitious. Or one for each month of the year. There you go. Luckily, I was not thinking Advent, and we don't have 25. That would be horrible. Am I missing one? Oh, here it is. What the heck? Oh, here it is. Oh, it's over here. Phew. Stress. I had one too few of these. I was like, where did everybody go? Well, and this is good for paper pads with lots of really big images too, because, whatever you use to line this envelope, once you take out whatever you put in the envelope, you'll see that stuff. So, you'll see that paper. You know what I mean? So this is actually a pretty good project to showcase paper like Graphic 45, where there's, kind of big scenes that you don't want to cover up, because you can put your favorite designs in this window. Use those favorite designs to line the pouches so that when you pull the stuff out of the pouches, you see that pretty paper back behind there. Okay, last brown one. Then we just have all the red ones to do. All right, so we did 6 of each. We're going to alternate them, one red, then one brown, one red, then one brown. Just for fun. All right, here's the brown ones. All right, I'm going to go put them under a bacon press. Oh, no, I'm going to stick them right here. Got it. There you guys go. Live there. All right. And just gotta do 6 more. I did find the bacon presses. This is a freebie class, so I gave the measurements, Raven. So when the videos show up on YouTube for the classes, you'll be able to take notes, and so you haven't permanently missed anything. And the second half of the classes from this afternoon will be up tomorrow morning, and then Monday this class will be up. So by Tuesday you'll have everything you need to be caught up with me. I love all the racing metaphors because we just watched Ford versus Ferrari not that long ago. And so what I do is I get the bottom lined up, and then I do the 2 sides. It's just a lot easier to deal with when only one side is sticky. All right. Do 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 do. Yes, if you don't want to trim like I did earlier, just make it a ½ inch shorter all the way around. So subtract an inch. So if I say something's 10 by 6, you cut it 9 by 6 and then bring everything in ½ inch. My dad's car was in a flood, so I sent him a copy of the Ford that's in the Ford versus Ferrari movie. You can buy them from Shelby American. And they're like $200,000. It was a joke. But oh no, I put it upside. Oh, I thought I put it upside down, but I didn't. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. Get it together, Kathryn. You don't want to have to redo any of these. So oh, the GT40, that's what it is. Anyway, so they're making copies of it, like you can order them. So I just jokingly sent him one. I was like, here, this can be your next car. Okay, just 3 more. We're almost there. And then we're going to decorate these. But we're going to make really cute. They're going to be so cute. When we decorate them with their pretty paper scenes and you guys will be ready for the holidays. And if you don't, like I said, if you don't celebrate Christmas, it's not like this design itself screams Christmas. You could use this for anything. Yes, that's a good point, Gretchen. We should probably do that. We should probably pick the box colors. Do you want to do that tonight, or do you want to start next week that way? I should probably do it tonight so I don't forget to do it next week, because I have forgotten to do that in the past and that has really screwed me up. Last one. Last one. Oh no, why am I doing the side? Don't. Put that back. Okay. We'll pick colors for the box tonight, but I'm kind of thinking that we should make the box with the cocoa paper, but we should use like the creamier papers for the box. So it's kind of like white, but white and gold. But we'll see. That's what I'm thinking. We'll make it like a white and gold box on the outside. So it'll be all wintry looking. Okay. We did it. We have all our envelopes done. Or not our envelopes, our pouch-a-lopes. Our pouch-a-lopes. All right, so we are going to make a box for the pouch-a-lopes. Gonna be a big box, because look at them when they are kind of fluffed up. You know, like I can squish them like this, but this is how they want to be, about this size. So box is going to be about 5 inches deep, I think. So, and it's 9 inches across. So, you know, it's a lot. All right. So what we need to do is we need two papers for the front and back, 2 papers for the side, and of course the two sides. So I have 2 of each design, so we're going to have different papers on the front and back than we have on the 2 sides. So we'll need to pick patterns that go well with each other. Yeah, once we stuff them, they're going to be even fatter. So we need 2 designs for the side that match, and then 2 designs for the front that match. But we need a total of 4 sheets for the sides of the box, and then we'll need 1 to make the lid. But we only need 1 for the lid, unless we want to have 1 for the top and 1 as like an accent around the rim. So that's what we're working with. So I'm going to flip through here and I'm going to think to myself what would work. This would be okay, but I think we can do better. But I'm going to like have it stick up the top. This one caught my eye earlier, and so did what's on the back of it. I think this would be great on the front and back of the box. This is very kind of, feels very home decor to me. So I'm going to have that one. I have 2 packs. This is 2 packs. This might be good because it's such a dense pattern as the band around the top of the box lid. You know, the part, just the shoeboxy part that hangs over the edge, the lip of it. So I'm going to pop it up just as a maybe. This is also nice because, you know, I could cut it like this. So I'm going to pop that up. Yeah, I have 2 packs. And then we have the color version of that other one. I'm going to go ahead and pop it up. I mean, this too, because it's kind of like a present. I don't love it. I'm gonna not. I mean, it's cute, but not for what I want. This one I'm gonna pop up for a potential lid. Oh, this is nice. This is very outside of a box to me. And this stripe too. I think that might be the answer, is the stripe. I think I'm developing an idea. Just gonna go through really quickly here. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Now, I don't strictly think that you would need 2 packs, but if you don't have 2 packs, each side of your box is going to be a different pattern because you won't have 2 of each sheet. So that's kind of the problem. Now, if you have the digital, you could print out just the box sheets. And if you have the digital, you can make all the sides of your box the same. Should I do that? Should I make all my box sides the same? And just print out 4 sheets in digital of like one of these? So this one's now a no, I'm not interested in it anymore. No, that would be boring. Okay, fine. You think boring and not classy? Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. We could do this on the front and the back of the box. Okay. And then on the sides of the box, we do these. So it would be like this, you know, front, side, back. And then, see, this I like a lot. And then, so we would need all 4 of them. We would need all 4 of them. But then for the lid, we could do, let's see how we like. No, I don't like that. Okay, we need something different for the lid. Okay, so for the lid, I think we need something a little higher contrast. Something more like this. For a red, and then for this would be the little strip that goes around for a pop of red, and then the lid could be the poinsettias. Although I guess the poinsettias look good on their own, we don't necessarily need the red. What do you think?
pop of color. So it would be like this. No pop of color. Pop of color. No pop of color. I kind of like it without the red. So we know we're using these four. We know we're using one of these for the lid. We need to find something. Just gonna flip through and see if we can find something to be our pop of color that's not like as in our face as the red is. I have setting aside the sheets that have like banners and stuff on them, you know. I'm going to set aside all the ones that have border sheets, border strips. Okay. I'm going to put this one at the very end because I already used it. We're going to start at the beginning and we're just going to quickly flip through again. It's just not the right vibe with the plaid's a little too country, and what we have going on is really super elegant. Maybe I'll pop it up. This, because it's black and white and this is black and cream, it's gonna make it's not gonna work. We are gonna do the black stripe horizontally for sure. Let's look at this because there's so much black in it. That is better than the snowflakes. Yeah, we could do the black stripe vertical for the lid like so, and that would be cute, but we would then have to change what we did here. We would need something else there. You know, because we're not going to do that. Now we could try really hard to line it up perfectly like so, but I feel like that would make us sad. So, wait. That kind of looks like a nice, subtle, almost like we wrapped a ribbon around the box, you know? I kind of like that. Oh, very sad. The digital has more designs. Do we need to go to the computer?
All right. Well, and we've reached the end, so, okay. All right, now we shall go to the digital. Give me a second. Please tell me that I downloaded this. Oh, I did not. Why am I so annoying? All right, let's see if I was smart. Oh, I don't have a digital of this one. Yeah, I only have... I go from journaling basics to ladies who lunch alphabetically. I do have... Well, that's not going to help me. I have the one from last year. Holiday Joy, it's called. That was from 2018, right? That one I have. She didn't send me the digital of this one, so I don't have the digital of this one. So I only have Holiday Joy. So we're just gonna have to use... I know! We're just gonna have to use one collection. Or we're going to have to mix collections, or I'm going to have to pick something out of the paper. I can't screw up either because because oh my gosh. Because I don't have it to... I mean, I can text her and ask. I can probably get it, but like I don't have it right now, so I can't solve this problem immediately, is what I'm saying. So let's look at Holiday Joy just for funsies and see if we love anything. Why not? You'll buy it for me? You don't need to buy it for me, Fran. I promise you. It's okay. Okay. I bet we can find something in the older one that would be cool. All right, let's go to the desk. Stay tuned for more Frankenpaper. All right. Okay. So this is Holiday Joy. So what we're looking for is something in Holiday Joy that's gonna blend with those black and white pieces. Like this one could work if we just cut these stripes off, but I mean, that's... I bet this red would be better too. So that red could do it. But I also think, and I don't know this for sure, I'd have to print it, but I also think that the color, the cream color is different between them. So I think I might actually, this one seems a little bit grayer to me, more distressed. So I'm not sure how well they would. I mean, I'm sure I could make them work if I pick the right pattern, but I don't know if that's the answer. I don't know. Let's go back to the desk. And let's try to use our little noggins, our noglins. Okay. So here's what we're dealing with. Let's talk about it. We have two, this is a big pattern, and this is a medium pattern, and this is a pretty tight pattern. So it's, even though the flowers are large, it's gonna read kind of like as a small pattern. So we have big, medium, small, and that's why these three look good together. So in between the small and the medium, we are gonna wanna put something that's not too tight, because either that or it'll look weird with this small one, but not too big, or else it'll look crazy because it's so small. Such a small piece. So that's kind of partially, these three papers are so balanced, so well balanced, that part of the issue, I think, is just that they're so well balanced that introducing another element isn't adding anything. So let's just flip through again and just see, this one's too busy next to that one. That's what I mean when I say it can't be too small, can't be too big. I mean, that one would work as a last resort. Honestly, we could just cut the red stripes out of this and just use the red stripe as if it were a ribbon. That might be the answer. I use Photoshop Elements, Deb, and the version I have is 19. I believe that they're on 20 now, but usually at the end of the year, sometime around September, the current year, which is 20, will go on sale as they get ready to put out the next year. So you can usually catch a deal on Photoshop at the end, Photoshop Elements at the end of the year. And but that's what I use. I use Photoshop Elements, and I print on Super B, which is 13 by 19 paper. So when I print my paper, I get a 13 by 19 canvas in Photoshop, and I put a 12 by 12 paper at the top, and then I like put elements at the bottom, or cards at the bottom, or journaling paper. So I think what the answer is to use that red stripe just by itself. So that what we would have is, and the good thing about using Photoshop or Photoshop Elements is that there's so many tutorials on YouTube, so many. So you can, anything you want to know how to do, you can just go on YouTube and say Photoshop Elements, how to resize or whatever, and there'll be a tutorial for that. What's on the backs? Well, this one has the stars. I wonder how they would look. That's probably fine. We could just use the stars. Because we're going to have a chunk left from the top of this, when we cut it down to size. So, okay. Because yeah, with Windows, it just, the way Windows, if you just control print in Windows, you know, the way it works is it puts each individual thing in the middle of a sheet. And that's kind of like, that is frustrating because sometimes you feel like I feel like I'm wasting a lot of paper. I feel like I'm wasting a lot of paper. Wow, that was a real struggle. Okay. The black squirrels are white and black, not cream and black, so they don't work, unfortunately. There is one that has a wide stripe at the bottom. It's this. Yeah, I mean, I think that we got pretty lucky having these work out so well with each other and with the poinsettia that we can't get too mad, you know. I think that's what we're going to leave it for now. You know, it's less important that we figure out what we use as the border than we figure out what we use for, here's the lid. There we go. I did put the poinsettia back in the pack, so there it is. I pulled it out. It was almost a disaster. It was almost a disaster, but now I got it. Okay, I got it out. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these three in their own bag so that I don't accidentally use any of them. Because we don't want to accidentally use any of them. And then we will decorate all of the envelopes, and then maybe we'll end up making a Franken-paper quilt for the border. Who knows what we'll do. So, but we've got our papers separated out for the box. So that's really what matters. So, all right, I'm going to head out. Thanks so much for joining me. We have completely finished doing all of the Pouch-a-lopes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, like I said, the second video from this afternoon will be up first thing tomorrow, and then this video will be up Monday. But tomorrow you'll have, you know, all the measurements and everything that you need to get started on making your Pouch-a-lopes. So you'll be all set. And then of course, if you have access to the archives, everything will be in there, you know, within a half an hour of the show ending like it normally is. But thanks so much for joining me, and I'm looking forward to decorating these Pouch-a-lopes with you next week. Bye now.